Thanks so much for joining our presentation on Google products for diverse learners. We can kick things off with some introductions. So my name is Laura Palmero, and I'm the Chrome Accessibility Program Manager at Google. In this role, I work with our Chrome accessibility engineers on developing the different features and functionality for accessibility across the Chrome browser and Chromebooks. I also work with all the different engineers, designers, and product managers across the rest of the Chrome and Chrome OS teams at Google to make sure that we're integrating and testing for accessibility each step of the way. So our team's goal is really to make Chrome and Chromebooks accessible and usable by everyone. And as Chromebooks have become so heavily used in school systems, we really want to make sure that these are usable and accessible for students and teachers. So I'm thrilled to be here today, and I'll pass it off to Lisa.
Okay, thanks, Laura. Hi, I'm Lisa Berghoff. I'm the Director of Instructional Technology at Highland Park High School, which is a suburb about 20 miles north of Chicago. And I am a 20-year veteran teacher. I've been a special educator for the last 18 years and have been in the role of Director of Instructional Technology for, this is my second year. And I'm really excited to be here. So how about you, Nika?
Hey, my name is Nika Johnson. I'm the lead instructional technology specialist at Woodward Academy. It's the largest independent school in the continental U.S. We are located in College Park, Georgia. It's approximately 10 miles from the airport. And we have a population of students with learning differences called a transition program, and that serves students from grades 4 to 12. I work with students from K to 12, and I also provide professional development to teachers, and I teach a high school course. And I'm excited to be here.
All right, awesome. So let's go ahead and get started.
Okay, I just want to quickly say a quick hello. We have people watching from Houston, from Scarsdale, from Austin, and if you go ahead and put your questions in, we will make sure to get to those towards the end of our broadcast.
Fantastic. All right. So today we're going to kick things off by talking about Chromebook accessibility features. And then Lisa and Nika are going to dive in some ways to leverage G Suite apps for diverse learners in the classroom. And we'll explore some additional Chrome apps and extensions, talk about some resources and where to learn more, and then we'll take some questions at the end. All right, so let's kick things off by talking about the different accessibility features built into every Chromebook. And we've got a lot to cover today, so we're going to go a bit fast. So definitely let us know if you have any questions towards the end. All right, so first I'll start with just a few ways to make your Chromebook easier to see for you or for your students. And I will say that I personally have a very rare visual condition. I'm what's considered to be low vision. I have a condition that impacts my central vision. So I use a variety of different assistive technology tools, including magnification and contrast adjustments. And I kind of mix and match the different ones that are available on Chromebooks to customize the situation so that I can really use what works best for me. So we'll start by magnification, and there are different ways to zoom in on a Chromebook by either increasing the size of the browser content itself by pressing Control+. You can adjust the size of everything on the screen and make everything larger by adjusting screen resolution by pressing Control-Shift+ and Control-Shift- to zoom back out. Or you can go into the accessibility settings in your Chromebook and use the full screen magnifier. And the way that this works is it will zoom in the entire screen, and you can use the mouse cursor to kind of pan around and control that viewport. And it's easy to adjust as well by being able to hold down Control and Alt and use 2 fingers on the touchpad to scroll up and down to adjust that zoom level. And if you'd like to see specific demos of how to enable these and where to access the accessibility settings, we just recently launched a YouTube series on Chrome and Chrome OS accessibility. So we have a video dedicated to making your Chromebook easier to see that demonstrates these next items. So definitely recommend checking that out. We also have a large mouse cursor for better visibility on the screen, and a high contrast mode, which inverts colors on the screen. So this can be particularly useful for anybody who, for example, like me, I happen to be pretty light sensitive in my eyes. So this can be really, really helpful. We also have a newer feature called Highlights, which allows you to highlight with little focus rings around a few key parts of the screen. So the text caret, the mouse cursor, and the keyboard-focused item. So basically the way that these work is as these items are either in motion or in use, they'll appear. So for instance, if I was moving the mouse cursor, the circle would appear around it to draw a little bit more focus around that item and help to draw more attention to it. And then as you stop, it kind of slowly fades away into the background. So again, just helping to draw more focus on these important parts of the screen. Next up, we have Chromebook Spoken Feedback, which is a screen reader that our team develops at Google. And it's been around since about 2011, and it's built into every Chromebook and every Chrome OS device. And you can enable it at any time by pressing the keyboard command Control-Alt-Z, as in zebra, or enabling it through the accessibility settings. And our team has been hard at work over the last 2 years, actually re-envisioning and rewriting the screen reader from the ground up. It's currently in an opt-in beta, and it introduces a lot of great user benefits, including a simplified keyboard model, a brand new menu panel for faster navigation, new ear cons and sound navigation signals, better voices, and quite a lot more. So that one is actually going to be coming out to all Chromebooks by default in the new year. So still an early opt-in beta, which everybody has available to them. If you want to learn more about that, please visit chromebox.com to learn more about how to access the beta and just what's coming in the future. But we're definitely excited about this new version. All right, now we can shift gears a little bit to talk about some features for our users who might have some motor or dexterity challenges. So first we have our on-screen keyboard. And this can be really useful if it's difficult to physically type on the keyboard. The way that this works is once it's enabled, anytime you put your focus into a text entry field, it will automatically appear in the lower portion of the screen. And then you can control it either using the mouse and the touchpad, or a separate pointing device, like for instance, a joystick. Or if you have a touchscreen Chromebook and touch is easier for you, you can use touch to actually type on that on-screen keyboard. And built into this on-screen keyboard, we have the ability to use dictation. So there's a little microphone icon that appears in the upper right corner of the keyboard. And basically you can click the icon and then use speech to actually input your text. Also within the keyboard, we do have the ability to use handwriting, which we've heard teachers say has been kind of a helpful tool for especially their younger students who are kind of learning to both handwrite and type at the same time. It helps with that word association, since as you handwrite, the computer will actually suggest the words that it thinks you're trying to write right at the top of the keyboard. So it helps a bit with that word association. Next up, we have some settings for the physical keyboard and also for the touchpad. So on the touchpad side, we have something called automatic clicks. And this is helpful if it's difficult to put physical pressure on the touchpad or on a mouse to click hard on it. So basically when this is enabled, you can hover over a clickable item on the screen, and a circle will appear and kind of zoom in onto the item it's going to click. And after a couple of seconds, it will click it for you without you having to actually exert any sort of physical pressure. Similarly, we have a tap to click setting. So again, like just reduces the amount of pressure you have to put on the touchpad. And same with the tap dragging feature. So you can kind of double tap and drag anything without having to physically hold down on the touchpad. On the physical keyboard side, we have the ability to adjust the keyboard repeat rate. And we also do have the ability for auto correction of words and next word prediction and auto capitalization. And one thing just to quickly mention here is that due to some technical limitations, these last three do not actually work within the G Suite apps at this point. And that's a gap that we're aware of and we're working to address. But they do work within Gmail and other portions of the screen. All right, last step for now, we have the ability to set mono audio. And the way that this works is it allows you to play the same audio through all of your speakers, even your headphones, through your Chromebook. So this can help if you have a student who perhaps has limited hearing in one ear, and having that balanced audio is helpful. So great, so now I'll pass it over to Lisa to kick us off about leveraging G Suite apps for diverse learners.
Thanks. So starting off with one of my favorite quotes from Ignacio Estrada: if a child can't learn the way we teach, maybe we should teach the way they learn. I think that kind of sums up my philosophy of education, working with struggling learners, and looking at how different G Suite apps can really help our kids in ways that we might not have thought of, and certainly in ways that were never possible before.
Okay, so I'm going to start with Google Drive. Google Drive is an amazing tool for students with executive functioning issues. It's actually an amazing tool for all students and all learners. They can use Drive, as we have on the slide, as their virtual backpack. They can color code the folders, share the folders with teachers, with peer helpers. They can upload images to the Google Drive, to their Google Drive. So imagine students in the classroom and teacher is writing notes on the board. The student can take an image of the board and upload it to Google Drive and have it for them for whenever they need to refer back to it. They can search easily, search their digital content easily. They can also organize easily. I think that's one of the best features of Google Drive. It's the ability for it to be organized easily for students and learners. Okay, so Google Docs. Same thing applies. I feel like Google Docs is great for all learners, but especially for our struggling learners. It gives our students independence. We can work together without sitting next to each other. So as a teacher, you can have your students share their Google Docs with you, and you can add comments and annotations, add comments for annotations on their documents. So it's real-time help for the students. Students can embed images and videos to help with comprehension for our visual learners. One thing that was a game changer, and Lisa would agree with this too, was the speech to text became embedded inside of Google Docs. It used to be a Google add-on. So for the kids who struggle to type and start writing, they can use a speech to text and have the Google Doc program write whatever they're saying, type whatever they're saying. It's an amazing tool. I think especially for those who are apprehensive to write, this is a really good tool for those students. And next.
Yeah, so next we're going to take a look at Google Forms, which is definitely a tool that has been a huge game changer for me in working with my students. One of the ways that I use Google Forms with my team, with an IEP team, is for tracking student growth and documenting IEP data. I know in keeping track of our students' goals and the progress that they're making on goals, in the past we've had clipboards and sheets and passing things around and needing to tabulate all kinds of numerical data, and creating a Google form and sharing it with my team has just completely streamlined that whole process. And then we can share that data with parents in a really nice format. So they love to see, especially my students, I work with high school students who are very involved in their own IEP process, and for them to be able to see a colorful graph that shows, for example, how they're using their time in class, that's been really helpful. I'm also using Google Forms in my class for student work submissions. So I don't know about you, Nika, but I have kids who lose their work. And it's so frustrating because I know that they've done it and they've worked hard on it. But when they are working on, say, an assignment in Google Docs, what they can do is they can just take the link to their doc and put it in the form that I've created. And that way I have all of their links for the same assignment in one place. And we're also using Google Forms for some of our flipped lessons. So we'll have students, for example, watch a video of a lesson at home and answer some questions through Google Forms. And there have been so many great changes to Forms in the last year. So now there's a quiz feature, and it will even grade for you, which is terrific. So Google Slides. There's something about Google Slides. My students, especially my students with autism, just really prefer to work on a slide deck rather than a blank doc sometimes. So we will use Google Slides for things like taking notes, for vocabulary. I love that you can add images and embed videos really easily. We do something in my class called Ignite Talks. I know you all are probably familiar with TED Talks, and I'm not sure if you have heard of Ignite Talks. They're kind of like a mini version of a TED Talk. So we will set their Google Slides to advance automatically. Usually we give them every 5 to 10 seconds, and we give them a set amount of slides, and the slides go. So, when we have kids giving presentations in class, often what they do is they want to put a lot of text on their slide and then they want to read it. And that gets really boring. And I know that they know more than what they put on there. So we have been doing these Ignite talks where I'm encouraging my students to really just add images to their slides. Their slides advance automatically, and then they talk about them. And that's been a great process in my class. Okay, so let's take a look at some of our favorite apps and extensions for our struggling learners. And I know we're going to talk about these.
Okay. Yes. Okay. So these are three extensions that I really enjoy for my students. So the first one is Stay Focused. Stay Focused is a Google extension, which, as it says, limits the time you spend on each site. So students can give themselves a certain amount of time on Facebook. Well, I can't say Facebook because the kids don't use Facebook, but the students can give themselves a certain amount of time on the site. So they're like, because sometimes kids with ADHD will lose track of time. So if they say, okay, I will give myself half an hour today to use Twitter, and then after that, they are blocked from that site. Another one that my students really enjoy is Magic Scroll Web Reader. What this does is any website with content or text, you click this icon, it strips the entire site of the images, of extra text, of ads, and then it gives the students just a huge page of just the text. And you can change the color of the background. You can also change the font size. So it takes away all of the noise and all of the clutter and distractions, and just focuses on the content of the site. AdBlock Plus is another favorite. What this does, it blocks all pop-ups and all ads, so students don't have the ability to click on different ads to become distracted. So they're just focusing on the content, and AdBlock gets rid of all the ads. I remember one time I was on the website using AdBlock on one browser, and the other browser I did not have AdBlock on, and the experience was like night and day. The browser that did not have AdBlock had so many ads, and it made my head hurt. So AdBlock Plus is an amazing tool to keep ads off of your page when you're reading it. That's it.
Okay, so now on to some more favorites. Read Write for Google is made by a company called Text Help, and they are a Google partner. And their free app allows for text to speech. So it will read whatever is on your screen, and it doesn't really matter what form it's in. Their upgraded version, which is really pretty reasonable, offers so many other tools. So there's word prediction and all kinds of different dictionaries, translation. You can add voice notes to your work. And this is one of my favorites. You can highlight in different colors. Let's say you're giving an assignment and you want students to highlight all of the features from a certain character in one color, and maybe from the setting in another color. You can click a button and it will collect all of those highlights and put them on a brand new Google Doc. And so for those of us who have kids that really struggle with annotations, that's a great way to help them. The next one, actually, Nika, you told me about this, and it's now one of my favorites. It's called Beeline Reader, which just adds this very gentle color gradient to the text on your screen. And it is designed to reduce eye strain. I really find for my students, I know we have several teachers that are watching right now who work with kids with dyslexia, this tool, this extension has really made a difference. It really helps them track when they're reading on a screen. So I actually showed this to a student a while ago, and she turned to me and said, "Whoever made this, I just want to hug them." So it's a great one. And then the next one is Dualist. So as more and more of our schools are going one-to-one with devices and teachers are using more online tools, it gets tricky to kind of click between tabs. If you have text open in one tab and questions in another, Dualist allows you to basically turn your Chromebook or your computer monitor into two screens, and you can adjust the percentage that each screen has. So if you want your text to be 70% of the screen and then your questions to be 30%, you can adjust that on your own, which is terrific. All right,
Okay,
Lisa, let's more.
So I'll start with video notes, and then Lisa's going to talk about Edpuzzle. Okay, so video notes is a Google app that you can import into Google Drive, which is amazing, where the videos that are playing, you can actually take notes and synchronize the notes on the video. So for instance, if you're watching a video, and it can be a Khan Academy video, it can be YouTube, it can be from Vimeo, and you want your students to focus on a specific time, you can add it to the video. I know that teachers, especially social studies teachers who use a lot of video content, really enjoy this because they are able to pinpoint a specific location, and the student will know, okay, 2 minutes, I need to focus on this because something major happens here. So our teachers use this and they really enjoy it.
Yeah, so another tool with using video is called Edpuzzle. And we have a lot of teachers that are flipping lessons, and Edpuzzle is one of the favorites. So you can take a video that you have created or off of YouTube. There's a whole variety of places you can grab your videos from, and you can put them in Edpuzzle, and you can embed questions into the video. So as the students are watching the video, it will pause and questions will come up. And one of the things that teachers really love about this is that it does not allow you to advance forward on the video until you have answered the question. So you can't just, you can't just skip ahead. It also gives lots of great data. The analytics are terrific. So you can do your grading right in there, and it will give you information such as how long each student spent on the video. And it's just a great tool. So I highly encourage everybody to give Edpuzzle a try.
Okay, so these are just little quick and easy extensions. One that I really like is Google Docs Quick Create. So a student can create a document, spreadsheet, presentation, drawing form on the fly. They don't have to go to docs.google.com or go to Drive. They can create one right in their browser by clicking this extension icon. Google Dictionary. How many students do we have that will read content and they'll see a word they don't recognize and just keep going? I'm raising my hand right now. I'm sure everyone else is. So with Google Dictionary, this extension, if a student just highlights, just double clicks on the word, it will provide the definition and also provide the pronunciation. So it's a really, really, really neat and low-res type of extension. And then Google Translate is a neat one for our English language learners. However, I know our world language teachers do not like it because it's literal, but it's a really good tool for, like I said, English language learners who have to read content but can't read English. So Google Translate, or it can go either way, but Google Translate is a great way to translate web pages into whatever language you want it to be. So those are 3 little quick and easy Google extensions that we really like.
Yeah, those are great.
Okay.
Great. All right, so now we can close off with some resources and where to go from here. All right, so to learn more about Google accessibility as a whole, you can visit our Google site, which is google.com/accessibility. We also have an accessibility section within our Chromebook Help Center, which is under Personalize Your Chromebook and then Accessibility. So there are a number of different articles there. As I mentioned before, if you are interested in learning more about the Chromevox screen reader, because we could have done multiple sessions just on that alone, you can visit chromevox.com for guidance and tutorials and more. Also, as I mentioned earlier, we have our newly launched Chrome and Chrome OS accessibility video series on YouTube. So we have 4 videos posted now, and we're going to be releasing one a week for a little while now to get quite a lot of content out there. So this just kind of started, and we're excited to be getting this content out there. We also have within the Chrome Web Store, which is where you can find how to get and access all of those apps and extensions that were just mentioned. And we do have an accessibility category as well that highlights some additional apps and extensions that you can test out in your classrooms. And last, we also have a Google group. So if you go to groups.google.com and search for this group, Chromebook-accessibility at googlegroups.com, we'd love for you to join and participate in the group, send questions, and just kind of join the conversation with other people, other users, other teachers in our team. So we really, truly want feedback, and we want to understand how these devices, how Chromebooks, how Chrome browser, how they're working in your classrooms for you. We really want to make these a good experience for students. So we are very open to feedback. So we thank you so much for joining today and listening in. And I guess at this point, we can take some questions. I know we only have a few minutes, but let's kick it off with some questions.
Yeah, so Nicole just asked if there was a way to disable students from changing the application's features, because she said she has students who mess around with them and they don't necessarily need certain features. So I suggested taking a look in the admin console.
Mm-hmm.
Here's another question from a different Nicole. Do you know of simple ways to add audio recordings to Google Forms for my English language learners? One of the things that I have done, Nicole, is that I have used screencasting to create a video of myself reading the form. And then I give my students the link to the YouTube video, so they have my voice reading the form to them while they're working on it. So
I have another suggestion, or if you're a teacher, you can use a Google site and have the video embedded with the form and embedded at the bottom of that page. So it can be like a running collection of your readings.
Yes. Great
But
idea.
that's great feedback. It's really interesting to hear these different use cases. It's something that I can absolutely bring to the Forms team just to kind of see if they have any thoughts on that as well. Awesome.
That's great. Thanks. Let's see. We have lots of special educators joining us from so many interesting places. Nancy asks if we are familiar with Canvas.
And
LMS
learning management system.
Right. And if we're using Canvas and Google Docs together. We are not, my school is not using Canvas. Nika, are you guys using Canvas?
No, we looked at it, but we're not using it. But we're using PowerSchool Learning, which integrates with Google Apps, Google G Suite.
Yeah, I know that there are several LMSs that work really, I mean, most LMSs I think work really nicely with Google Apps. And most of our teachers are using Google Classroom right now. So I would take a look at Canvas's website. I'm sure they have more information about their integration with Google Apps. Suzanne says voice notes and Edpuzzle are both so amazing. We think so too, Suzanne. Let's see. Pedro is joining us from the Amazon. Sweet.
Wow, welcome.
Walton asks, could the color coding on the files be made bigger? I like it, but you cannot see it very well. I'm wondering if
zoom in.
Referring to files in Google Drive, perhaps.
Interesting. Okay.
Lisa, I just looked up. Canvas is, as of April 26th, April 2016, Canvas is in development to have improved Google Apps integration.
Okay.
Okay. All right.
As of when was that? April?
April, yeah, of this year. So we'll see.
Hopefully they did some work over the summer. Sharon says, my dyslexic students love Kami for completing homework on PDFs from other teachers. I use Kami too. That's a great.
How do you spell that?
It's Kami, and
Oh, I looked
it
that
is
up.
a PDF reader that integrates with your Google Apps. So
Oh.
you're able to complete on a PDF using Kami.
Awesome.
Sharon
Oh, this is
also
awesome.
says voice in Google Docs is life-changing for
Mhm.
her dyslexic and dysgraphic students. Thank you so much. I mean, we think so too. So
Absolutely.
And that's so great to hear. And honestly, if you have any feedback whatsoever on how it's working, if you're utilizing, those voice commands as well in the editing, please do join that Google group. It's specifically for Chromebooks, but I work very closely with the G Suite team, and I can certainly provide feedback or suggestions, whatever works. So feel free to use that as a communication channel.
yeah, and then Amit has a suggestion for using the voice comment in Read Write. Grab the link from that comment and embed the link into the form for English language learners. That's an interesting.
Oh, wow. Love it.
Oh,
Give
definitely.
that a try. Yeah, that's a great idea.
I love stuff like this. I learned so much. This is awesome.
Me too. And this is really just so exciting to have all of these people joining us from all over the place. We have Canada and New Jersey, Colorado, California.
Thanks for the Kami shout out. Like, I'm looking that up and that's awesome. I need to share it Monday.
I use Kami and I'm like just so used to using it, I forget that it's
a thing.
The tool.
Well,
okay.
I know that the three of us could go on literally all night. I suppose we should be respectful of everybody's time, though. I know there's a lot of really great talks and great content that's being shared in the ED on Air series. So I guess, I just want to echo everything that we've said. We are so thankful for you all joining us today, and we really would love more feedback, more questions coming through in that Google group, in the YouTube video series, whichever way you want to reach us, on our Twitter handles that are here up on the screen. Just really thankful and hope that you all have a wonderful rest of the weekend.
Okay, goodbye, everyone. Thank you for tuning in.
Thanks for watching.
Okay, bye.
Take care.